Who's keeping score? Who's keeping score on adverse childhood experiences? Do you know? Are you comfortable enough and willing to help a foster child? Do you know what that score means? There's about a half a million children in this world today, in the U.S., that are in foster care. I believe that with education and support, our society would be better just by helping out a child. I was a foster parent of 11 girls, and most of my girls had adverse childhood experiences at a score of 9 or more. If children were to get their needs met by addressing their ACEs scores, and basically ACEs scores have to do with all the traumas that they had to go through before they were placed in care or before the age of 16, they would be able to be optimistic in changing their lives. I was raised with the phrase, if you know better, you need to do better. While living in Hawaii, I noticed that there were a large amount of African American kids that were disproportionately placed in foster care. Couldn't understand it, but I do know that they were placed in care on the mainland and then the families moved to Hawaii. They moved to Hawaii without the support of other African American agencies. So, as I worked for an agency that was a nonprofit working for youth, I also became a mentor. With this mentor leadership role that I played, I ended up making sure that all the African American kiddos had their needs met. Their hair, talk about African American food, talked a little bit about history. We talked a little bit about Kwanzaa. You name it. I was there to help them and to support them. And also, I helped them with going to their IEP meetings. I helped them with their educational needs. So I decided that I was going to stop my work and take on this one child named Fran. She was being abused in her foster care placement. So I decided that I was going to do some training, get licensed, and take care of Fran. Here's Fran's facts. She was homeless between birth to 8 years old, living on the beach in Hawaii. Most people would say, well, that's not bad. Hawaii is pretty nice. However, she was having a hard time because she never had any formal education until the age of 8. She couldn't get food. A lot of their food came from the source of the rubbish can or stealing. And because of the lack of food, she had malnourishment issues. She also had dental problems as well. She had a mother that suffered from schizophrenia, and she also didn't have a father figure whatsoever. So Fran was placed in my care at the age of 14. Being placed in my home meant that she was a therapeutic foster child. Therapeutic foster children have needs that are greater than other regular foster kids. They lash out. They have learning disabilities and emotional, social difficulties as well. So Fran's score was about a 9. And the only thing that I know for sure she didn't suffer from was watching someone be murdered. All the other traumas in her life she had already experienced before the age of 8, which means she was already a damaged child. So, I believe that people, if they were informed about the ACEs scores and how important it is to go through your life, making sure that you attain the skills you need to address those traumas in your life, you might be able to get better education, better housing, better relationships, better friendships. So with this, I say, many people can help. The foster care system needs you. We need you to be there not just for foster care systems, but we need you as an advocate. We need you as a school provider. We need you as a therapist. And it's not that hard to put the work in that it's going to take to get these kids on their way to success. And did you know that there's 50% of the kids that are in the foster care system will be unemployed, and 70% of the kiddos that are in foster care will be on government assistance. 50% will also experience homelessness, and that's not for a child, but that's after they gain adulthood. And only 25% will not have completed their high school education. So I believe that we can get together, put our heads together, and move on. Francesca was able to be in my home where she gained the knowledge of self-respect. She also had a way with mutual trust and respect because I was her mentor from the age of 8. She understood that I was not going to leave her side. So with that, she had successes. So at the age of 18, she was getting ready to go on to college, which I made her do. She didn't think that it was something that she could do, but she did. And she was at the senior level. She was a track star, 4.0 student, and this is a child that was illiterate before the age of 8. She didn't know what the alphabet was at age 8. She went on to get accepted at Berkeley as a Gates Millennial Scholar. She also got her undergraduate in communications and later was able to get her master's degree in teaching. And all that was because I understood her ACEs scores, which are very important. Francesca now is an advocate in the Bay Area for a few foster kiddos, and she also goes on and does speeches to help foster care agencies. So, my question to you is, what's your ACEs scores? I challenge you to go on Google, take the test, and know your score. Because at this point, if you know better, you will do better. Enjoy.